So in this last part of the problem, our goal is to find the charge that causes this the electric field and the potential that we were originally given, and we can get the charge from the charge density that we found. And of note, this charge density here is a function of position, so we can't do what we normally do, where we just multiply the density times the volume. We'll have to integrate this volume, this density over some sort of volume. So we can go ahead and do that now. I'll go ahead and start writing it down here and scroll up a little bit. So in most general form that we have that the charge is equal to that volume. We have that charge is equal to that volume integral of that density times some differential volume that we're integrating over. So we can go ahead and make our substitution for that density that we found for our density that we have here. So of course we have this integral, volume integral. I'll just keep it generic right now. Epsilon naught 4 pi direct delta of r minus the lambda, which of course is just some constant, times our exponential function that we've been working with, d tau here. And our d tau, actually before we do that, we'll go ahead and start integrating or distributing that integral sign and just pulling out all the constants. So we have two integrations. Actually, this is common to all of them, so we can just leave that in parentheses. But that integral sign moves past that 4 pi and just attacks onto this direct delta function here, and then minus lambda squared of the volume integral of, let's see, e raised to lambda r over r d tau, and parentheses, scrolling up a little bit, dropping down the constants for what's going to happen in this next step. So one of the properties of the direct delta function, again, it's just some sort of function, right, that's zero everywhere except at the origin, and then there's a spike that goes off to infinity, and the area underneath that spike, which is kind of infinitely small, is 1. So the volume integral of the direct delta function in 3D space is just 1. The total volume equals 1. So that's just 4 pi right here. And then this integral right here is a very special integral, right? It's one that you'll see often, but we can make it a little bit more familiar by go ahead and making a substitution for this volume element, right? So we have the d tau is equal to r squared d sine theta d phi dr, right? Where of course sine theta d phi, that whole thing is just equal to 4 pi if you integrate over 0 to 2 pi for phi, and then 0 to pi for theta, because there's no angular components here, so we can just make that substitution for 4 pi right there. And so this whole thing ends up being lambda squared volume integral, but that volume integral just goes from 0 to infinity, because we're integrating over all space for this r, so from the origin all the way out to infinity for this spherical coordinate of r squared, this exponential over r, and then dr here, right? And so of course you can make a substitution or just the canceling out of those r's, and all that's left is the integral from 0 to infinity of r times e to the negative lambda epsilon naught times r dr. And that's the very an integral that you'll see often used in problem solving methods type classes that you'll be familiar with, that you'll forget just like me until you start working through it. And that whole integral ends up being 1 over the constant that was in there, so lambda squared. That is that integral. And you can look it up in any sort of integral table. If you put it into Wolfram Alpha, you'll get that answer as well. So that all ends up being 4 pi minus lambda squared over 1 over lambda squared, 4 pi here. All right, of course the lambda squareds cancel out here, and all that's left with is a 4 pi minus 4 pi here, and that of course is equal to 0. And that is the charge. That's our total charge, is 0. So that's kind of weird, right? So we obviously have a charge density, and then we obviously have some sort of potential that's happening. So how is it that our total charge down here is equal to 0? Well, it's definitely possible that our charges are a little bit positive some areas and a little bit negative some areas, so that the total is equal to 0, right? And if you were playing around with the charge density, you'll find some places that this is equal to negative, is negative, and some places that ends up being positive, right? And so that kind of makes sense. It doesn't necessarily pass the initial sniff test of does this make sense, but that ends up being the right answer just because of the nature of the positive and negative charges of the charge density.